I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Man, that is a,
On this
that is a
clown.
sad clown.
Dude, that's pretty good.
This is The Gloom, bringing you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha Pax, exploring their F3 experiences and finding those sticky elements that create the glue in the gloom.
Shout out to our sponsors Major Team Mortgage, Omaha Laser Dentistry, Exclusively Eye Care, and Liberty Core Real Estate. We appreciate their support.
Are you or someone you know in the market to buy a new home? Well, if so, check out Major Team Mortgage at Exarban Mortgage. They specialize in home purchase and refinance home loans. Their mission is to purposely empower people to experience their good life through building wealth with real estate. You know, showing up in the gloom is no different than showing up for a conversation around your future of building wealth with real estate. Join the action economy and get in the game with Sasquatch. Text or call John at 402-212-0149 to schedule a time today. NMLS number 1393750, Equal Housing Lender.
Now let's get back to the gloom.
And we're back. I don't know. There's a debate out there on which of these guys is the most handsome. I think we've interviewed one of the brothers here, but we have the honor of interviewing another high impact leader and former site Q at the sanitarium. So we got our brother Double Dip on the call today. And I don't know if you guys, if you have who's winning the handsomer debate between you and your brother, but we'll let the Pax decide that, right? But if you would, just start us where it all began, sort of your EH story, the first workout, and then how'd you get the name Double Dip?
Yeah, well, thanks, Plague and Pony, for having me. I appreciate it. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Guy that EH'd me was Ear Tag. We go to church together, and it just is one of those things where he just was on me, and all through the winter. And I'm not a cold weather guy, and my brother and I will be the most bundled up at any workout. It just turned out to be right after the spring where I kind of gave in and said, yeah, let's try out this F3 thing, and always outside. That's kind of crazy. But went to the pit. KOA was on the queue. And I remember like showing up and nobody was there. There was a bunch of cars and nobody was there. I thought to myself, am I late? Did I miss something? And I panic mode. I'm like trying to frantically see, and it's dark, pitch dark. And then all of a sudden I see some lights come in, and then I saw Ear Tag, and he said, oh, you came. And so I saw him and kind of high-fived him. And I said, I didn't know you guys already started. He goes, no, it's just the pre-run. And I thought to myself, there's a pre-run before the beatdown? And immediately I saw these guys like half tired, and I am like full of energy, ready to just get after it. And I was a little upset, by it, almost to the point where I'm like, geez, like, what do I have to prove now? These guys are freaking already tired. And now I'm showing up like fully piss and vinegar and ready to go. And KOA's workout was tough. We did some running and some work and some, just different workouts and, more sprinting and whatever. And I can remember like just trying to go as hard as I could, not necessarily to prove anything, but just like to get up to their speed. Like they're already tired and wore out. And I'm like, I need to get there. I need to be like you guys. And I remember somebody saying, geez, look at this guy. He's sprinting every time. Hey, slow down, whatever. I'm like, geez, you guys already put in a couple of miles. So I felt bad already at the get-go. And then came to the Namerama, and Ear Tag kind of filled me in a little bit about how that process went, and tell about yourself and whatever. And so, I heard a couple of names, Jean-Claude. I'm thinking, geez, my childhood like actor, star guy. I wanted to be like Jean-Claude in the cinema. A guy is named after that. I'm thinking, geez, it's endless. And so I get in there and say, hey, I teach at the high school. I coach wrestling, and there's a couple of names. And somebody said, hey, what do you teach? I said, I teach some health science classes. And then the next 20 names after that were very inappropriate and slang for a lot of anatomy. And to be honest with you, I shut down. I shut down completely. I couldn't give him any other firepower. I thought I was going to get the worst name possible. Somebody said he's a twin. I said, yeah, I got a twin. I go, where's your twin brother? How come he's not out here? Well, I think he's going to come out next week or the week after, which he ended up doing. Somebody said double, and then it went to like the spearmint gum, and then I don't know who said double dip, but I left thinking Jean-Claude double dip. I mean, I know KOA's there, but I'm trying to figure this all out. I'm like, fine, I guess that's what I am. And so, it was funny. I went to ask Huffy for a coupon to make for me, and gave him the bottle of bourbon or whatever, and he was happy to do that. And then he kind of asked for some inspiration, and I lied. I absolutely lied. I said, hey, obviously, use your imagination, 2 chicks, and gave him some other stuff. And then I was like, no, I'm a twin, double. And then I don't know where the dip came in, but he kind of went off the theme of Nickelodeon. So my brick looks like just a bunch of splat with double dip on it, which is kind of cool. So that's kind of how it all started.
Well, what do you? Well, what did you think of the first workout? Initial impressions, the group of guys, the beatdown itself. Take us through that.
Yeah, I loved it. I was taken back with all the terminology. Obviously, it takes a little while to figure that out, but I just was I loved it. It was something I enjoy working out with a bunch of guys. Previously, I worked out at the Y, and it was like a group of guys and a couple of girls that would do this workout in the gym, and we'd run around the Y, and it was kind of CrossFit-y, kind of CrossFit-ish. And then I would lift at the high school with a variety of different guys, and but it was always you do a lift and you're done, you do a lift and you're done. It wasn't it wasn't as meaningful. I don't think it was just get in, get your workout, and get done. I'd rather be around people. All through my days of just with roommates, I've never been really apart or been alone, in a sense. So I just love the camaraderie. I love people asking questions, you getting to share ideas, and every once in a while you get to strike a nerve with somebody, and they tell you what they really feel, and that's awesome. So yeah, that first workout was great. It was it led me to do some more, and then I obviously followed up going to the sanitarium because I live really, really close to there, and then others as we branched out and got hooked, meeting more and more guys. So it's kind of spurred from there, but it was a great workout. KOA is a ball buster along with Chernobyl and Swiper, and I can name off a few others for sure.
So how long did it take you before you were pre-running? After that first seeing those guys, did you jump right in, or did it take a while?
Yeah. The very next one, and I basically pre-run. I pre-run every workout, except for Saturdays. I typically don't pre-run because I'm usually late from doing an activity on Friday, and so with fall football and then with basketball season, it's tough to get some sleep, and you gotta get some sleep every once in a while. Otherwise, F3 will just wrap you up and spit you out towards the end of the week. But no, I try to pre-run every time. I'm probably a 90%, 95% pre-runner for sure.
Well, that's good. And it's good. I mean, it's good you're being mindful of needing rest, right? I mean, because you're right. You could hit it every day if you wanted. You could pre-run every single time, but you're right. It could spit you out. I mean, I know we've got a lot of guys that are getting worn down with injuries right now and stuff, and so I just appreciate that you're being mindful of that in your body. Well, walk us through the EH with the ear tag. Was it a hard sell? I mean, you obviously knew ear tag, so how did he sell it off to you?
Yeah. he started off talking about our workout, because we worked out together at the Y. And we'd text each other, "Hey, you going today?" and whatever. And I said, "Yeah, I'm going today." And then we'd work out pretty hard, and it was fun. And our wives know each other really well, and so we kind of connected through that. And then they went to the same church as what we did, and then now we're in a life group together, and so that's awesome. And along with my brother, and along with KOA, and so we're kind of all in the same church life group together, which has been cool. But no, he just, and timing is probably everything with an EH. Although
Sure.
you can just be relentlessly honest and brutal, and just call, text, and be relentless, depending on the person. And he was in a sense, like, he just was, "Hey, why haven't you come?" Like, "Hey, this is the same stuff that we were working on. It's outside. You'll get over it. It's going to be fun. Great group of guys. We do all the same stuff that you want to do. Just try it." And, I said, "Hey, fine, get him off my back. Fine, I'll come out this day," when when it was a little bit warmer in about March. And, yeah. And then just decided to come out. And so, my brother was supposed to come out. I don't know what happened. He had something else going on that morning with some kids. And then he ended up coming the week after. So
who gets credit for
yeah, I wasn't too hard of a sale, but
who gets credit for the fun dip EH? Is that you or ear tag?
I don't know who said fun dip. I think everything was double. They didn't even listen to his story. Double. Hey, let's get twins. First set of twins. We got to get them the same, whatever. And then I don't know who said fun dip, but he owns that, and and it just kind of stuck. So.
Well, tell me a little bit too, because I know your background, like you grew up playing sports, right? And I think wrestling, and so you came into the group at a certain level of fitness, right? Like so just talk us through, like, how do you think your sort of previous experience with exercise and athletics has played into your first F journey?
Well, and then if you could expand too on how it compares to, what you were doing in your previous, workout routine.
I've always liked fitness. I always liked running, and I've liked working out. I think, in high school, playing all kinds of sports. I went to a class B-ish type of school, and everybody kind of did everything, and played football, wrestled, and then did track and baseball. Baseball for my first 2 years in high school, then track, and then I hurt my knee, and then I just wrestled throughout the spring, my senior year. So, and then continued on, went to West Valley Community College and wrestled. My brother and I both did. And then from there went to the University of Nebraska, Lincoln. And it was kind of a far-fetched deal. Our coach at West Valley was pretty well connected. When we were in the Bay Area, living with our uncle, and we had every amenity that you could have, and all the freedom. It was awesome. I mean, a beach about an hour away. You got San Francisco about an hour away, and then you had the mountains with about an hour away. So, pretty unique environment. But that was probably the best shape I've ever been in. I wrestled at 149. I just weighed myself actually at wrestling practice. I don't coach wrestling anymore, but anytime I get a wild hair, I'll go up to the wrestling room and roll around with my brother every once in a while. But yesterday was one of those days, and we both weighed each other. And I weighed at 176, and Chris weighed in at 172. I'm like, geez, seriously? But I've always been heavier. He's always been a little bit lighter. Yeah, I wrestled 149 in college, so I'm a little bit heavier than I was. But I think I've also packed on a little bit of muscle. Yeah. So, and then fast forward to having kids and having a career, just not able to get to the gym as much as you want to. I've had a variety of different lifting partners throughout the course of the 17 years that I have been a teacher. Some guys played in college, and all they do is want to power lift and throw weight around like it's, like they're 23, 21, 22. I'm like, gee, I just can't do that. I mean, I like doing that. Chernobyl and Fun Dip will vouch for me on the first one, or on the first one that I did.
I think, in terms of first F, it sounds like you've been able to kind of continue that journey and, maintain some things. I think one of the things I'm hearing that's really cool is you were already working out with a couple guys, and then that group sort of started, one by one kind of going to F3, and then adding, F3 and still maintaining those relationships. But want to get your thoughts on the kind of the second F, or the fellowship piece. Like, what's been the impact sort of on existing relationships, maybe the relationship with your brother, and then also like on developing some new relationships?
Yeah. I love pre-runs for the very fact that I really don't even think about the run. A run is just a means of just talking with guys. I would always go to the Brickyard, and Stella would always be like the only runner there. So I got to know Stella pretty well. And that was really cool for a while. And then going to the sanitarium and starting off there, Swiper was always there. Firewalker was always there. Jean-Claude was there. I recorded my fastest 5K with Farva there. He's like, hey, let's just go fast. And then we hauled. And then Bunny Slope, like a couple months ago, asked me if I wanted to go really fast. And I'm like, I don't know if I can. I mean, I go fast, man. How fast you want to go? And I'm thinking, geez, I'm double dip. I mean, I can run with the best of them. I should be able to. And yeah, not Bunny shoes. Sorry, it was Bunny Slope, and he took off running, and we ran the first mile at the sanitarium in like 5. It was under 6, 5 something. And I'm like, I cannot keep this up. And he's like, no, you can. And so then I gutted it out the next one, like at a 6:15. And then the last one, I'm like, man, if you're training for something, I get it. You just go, man. Just go. And I'll recover. And he goes, no, let's just go. And then in very like fashion of like wanting to have somebody to run with, he was like 3 steps ahead, like always. And here I am, like trying to keep up. And yeah, just fast. So that's cool. But not everyone is like that. I've gotten to know Ray Band just recently with some runs, and he's a good dude. But just to see the evolution, just being at one site and seeing the guys come for pre-runs as they do, you get to run with some of the similar guys, I think is really cool. And then the guys that see you run, they want to run too. We had a new guy that just showed up, a couple of months ago, Redwire, and he just ran them. Hey, I see a bunch of guys running. Just what is this all about? We're like, hey man, he came to the right spot, and he has been taken off, man. He does pre-runs now, and just a good dude. But yeah, I think that fellowship when you're running is a must. It takes the mundane of the run out of it, and just you concentrate on what life is going on. I remember having a conversation with who was it, Jean-Claude out at the farm. I was frustrated with some kids that I was dealing with at school, and just an outsider looking in, giving some feedback, of like, hey, have you tried this? Have you thought of this? That type of thing, and just being non-judgmental at that point. I think, I think we get in those situations and we have those conversations, but the great thing about F3 is that, there's not too many people doing what you're doing, unless you know exactly what they're doing. And so we do have a lot of teachers and a lot of administrators that are in F3, but, just having that bird's eye view and that outside looking in a viewpoint that, that I got that one time from Jean-Claude was cool. And for a lot of guys that I've ran with and had a conversation with and rucked with and done that piece with, I think is really, really cool.
I love this idea of the running, but also, the beat down. I think one of the other kind of big crossover things that I think is first and second F is IPC. I don't know if you have any thoughts on the Iron Pax challenge and maybe how that connects guys a little bit deeper, or I don't know, any thoughts there?
I love and hate the Iron Pax challenge. One, I like the fact that I'm the only double dip that's in the nation. That's kind of cool. Made me have some more ownership of double dip. But just to have workouts that are timed, that you have to complete, that you have to do correctly, I think is a challenge. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you can modify, but then hopefully people know that those don't really count. A burpee or you got to go all the way down your chest. You have to clap your hands at the top, otherwise it doesn't count. So I enjoy Iron Packs when it comes around. I'm glad to see it go though, too. But just to have guys just suffer together. I remember after there was one at the sanitarium I just did this last fall, and it was tough, just like the rest of them. And I remember just being in my own little world of just trying to get these reps taken care of. But then again, seeing guys down the road or, down the line doing the same thing. It's like that reassuring piece that, man, there's other people going through the same thing you're going through. And, not just necessarily the gloom. Yes. But, just in life, just with kids and with the M and, you can relate it to a lot of different things, but the struggle is there, and just being able to struggle with other people is a cool thing. Like I joke with Chernobyl, my brother and I both do, about his ability to do overhead press, correctly. But I mean, he's a beast in his own right. And he is a tank. He's a hammer. And, but yeah, I try to do things the correct way, and I try to get a good time. I really try to bust my balls every time. There was one time Jean Claude and Firewalker, and I forget who else was there, but it was a bear crawling one, and I'm like, bear, okay, I can bear crawl with the best of them here. There's one that was in a square, and gosh, somebody had like these jelly things that they're trying to get me to eat. And, I'm like, I don't eat anything before I go to the workout. I just go, and, whatever happens. I expend some energy, then I get home, take a shower, and then I have cereal or have whatever. But like, they had these, hey, we need you to do, this is your thing. We need you to get, high school, or get us up there. Omaha needs to be represented. I'm like, geez, you just, don't give me that. Don't give me that juju. Don't give me that feedback that it's all on my shoulders. There's guys that are freaking 1,000 times better than me. But I tore through it. I wasn't the best in that one, and it wasn't the best even that in that site. But I tried my best. But just to have guys pull for you, I think is cool. So, and that's what Iron Packs gets you. You call up a buddy and say, hey, when are you doing it? And they tell you, okay, I'm there, let's do it together. And so I think that's the cool thing about it. Bobsled's an absolute beast in those two. Yeah, just a bunch of guys.
Hey, are you the type of guy that likes to get up early in the winter to battle your jester? Do you love listening to people drone on and on and on about COVID in the gloom? Would you trust your vision to a guy nicknamed Cataracts? Well, if the answer to any of these questions is yes, fellas, you have bigger problems than you think. Dr. Cataracts, aka Dr. Wolf, can't solve all of your problems, but he can certainly help you solve the problems related to your eye health and vision. You will find many F3 principles throughout his practice. Check him out today at Exclusively Eye Care.
What do you think about the kind of the competition surrounding Iron Packs? Because, in most days what we do and what F3 says, it's you versus you, right? You're just there to challenge yourself, but then you add this competitive component to it. And, I think that pushes some guys away, but I am curious on your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think the great thing about F3 is it challenges you. Every workout's different. You show up and you don't know what you're going to get into. You could get into a workout where you play a game the entire time, or you can get into a workout where it's a killer and you're, like today at Sandlot, and Chernobyl is doing everything with our hammies and our backs, and we're sprinting laps and whatever. It's just not now. It's not just a nice easy jog down and back. Get as many miles as you can in. So I think that's the beauty of it, and I think that's what pushes guys a little bit out of their comfort zone. I notice certain people go to certain workouts. Even I do. I check that sheet, on Mondays and kind of plan out my week of based off who's queuing and how many miles I need to get in and whatever. But mostly who's queuing. And there's guys that bring it, and there's guys that you don't know what they're going to come up with. There was a workout, and I'll never forget it. A honey stinger came to the sanitarium. I'm like, first of all, I don't even know who this honey stinger guy is, but he freaking came in with a freaking white horse, and he just knew everybody. I'm like, this is the guy I need to get to know. And his workout at the very beginning, first of all, his warm-arama was like 30 minutes long. And it was the longest warm-arama. And we stretched every part of our body. Yeah, I mean, that probably what started me to go to the Brickyard, because he was there at the Brickyard too. He would go there a lot and got to know him with some runs, and what a good dude he is. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the Iron Pax challenge, I would encourage people to do it. I mean, I always try to get newbies to do it that don't know what it is. Yeah, it's a modified thing, but it's you versus you and trying to get through the workout. There's ones that involve coupons that are grueling and they're tough. But then again, I mean, we can do tough things. You've done workouts with Plague and freaking the best of the best. And so if you can go through those, you can go through this.
Yeah. I love it, man. It's so funny. Honey Stinger's VQ was a complete disaster. So I love hearing that he's grown, and I think he's still a listener of the show. So Stinger, if you're out there, brother, we love you, man.
Oh gosh,
one of the things. Yeah. Go ahead.
He's a character.
What else would you say about Stinger?
I'll tell you what, seriously, from that first one, first of all, he's got Honey Stinger hat. He's got a Honey Stinger, shirt. I think he had shoes and short. He was decked out head to toe, Honey Stinger. And I'm just like, this dude is rocking it. He is, you're not going to forget his name. And I've gone to a couple others workouts that he's done, and he's just been rock solid. He just, the laughs keep coming, and just a good solid dude.
Well, before I even knew about the Honey Stinger brand, I thought he just made his own shirt. I'm like, this guy.
Yeah.
Now I think he's just the only sponsored packs out there.
My kids love not only watching the F3 Twitter to see who's working out and who's not working out, and then they'll ask me like, "Hey, how come so and so's not there? How come so and so didn't go with you?" So that's
awesome.
kind of interesting that they've got into it. They love going to the 2.0 workouts when they can. In fact, when my brother launched the Mount O, my kiddos went to it, and so that was kind of cool. I'm like, seriously, you guys want to wake up this early? So that was kind of cool. But I mean, as far as relationships goes, I mean, the connection that you have with those guys as you're talking to them in runs and during the beatdowns and getting to know them. We are, it used to be, 6 degrees of separation. In Papillion, I think it's like 1 or 2 degrees of separation as you start to talk and get to know people. And I mean, for sure, just Papio South, Papio, the rivalry, and it's really not necessarily a rivalry. I mean, they like to beat us, we like to beat them, but in the grand scheme of things, every kid over there and every kid at our place grows up like playing with each other, and then they separate at the schools, and then they play against each other, and so they love each other just as much as they hate each other at certain points, obviously in competition versus not in competition, but um, yeah. I mean, as far as relational, beyond F3, just with my wife, and just trying to ask her some various different questions that come up in F3, and just trying to, I don't know, pick her brain versus different things. You hear stories of what people are doing, and there's just words of wisdom, with the COTs, and I definitely make the connection there and bring it back and talk to my am about it and kind of just pick her brain too as well. So I think it sparks some different ideas in that sense. My kids know various different kids with other PAX members, which is really really cool. But as far as that, I think relationally, that's probably about it. I've had Boss Hog over at my house before he took over at Sanitarium, and I'm like, my wife was upstairs, and I let him in, and he's like, Beth, yelling upstairs, almost like Meatloaf, but Beth. I'm like, hey, it's Boss Hog. Boss Hog is here. Like she knows who he is. So that's cool. As my dog goes nuts. No, he's good now. But yeah.
What about the dynamic with your boys that you kind of knew it before F3? Is that any change there? Or you guys just steady? The dynamic with the boys you knew before F3.
Oh, Chernobyl, ear tag, those guys.
Yeah.
I think it just you know more about them. I think with seeing them at church, seeing them at F3 workouts, seeing them just around town. Our kids are pretty similar in age. I think it's just strengthened and grown, just with the amount of opportunities we have with each other. It's just interesting, hey, so-and-so didn't go to church today. And, so-and-so wasn't at a workout. What's going on? You kind of, you play that game a little bit, but I mean, KOA, they're just good dudes. My brother's just good dude. Yeah, we're in the game of life together, and the more we can help each other out, the better.
I love it, man. Curious how you see, as we think about like all of this stuff, right? Kind of the relationship piece and the fitness as an accelerant, and that third F piece, kind of bringing it all together. What's been your journey from a third F perspective, and kind of maybe how has F3 helped or given you space to explore that more?
Yeah, I enjoy getting together with like-minded people. I think F3 does that for me. There's a lot of people that think the way I think, and that's reassuring going through life. With the third F piece, I have never been a outside prayer. If somebody has something going on, I'll, underneath my breath or, in my head, and, I'll pray for that person. But I've never been a person that's prays out loud, especially with a bunch of men that I really barely know, or sometimes know, or know a little bit, or know a lot. So I think, that's a little daunting to some degree, but I think the more I got into F3, the more I was able to open up and pray for those things that, really need to be prayed about. And, just with my life, with the lives around people that I'm at work, in my new role, I'm connected with a lot more people rather than just my student population. And so, teachers are going through a lot, our support staff are going through a lot. And just having that ability to have a group that prays for those types of people, I think is powerful. And anybody that doesn't know the power of prayer, has never been or witnessed a prayer session, COT at the end where everybody prays and they're all together. And I came to F3 where we couldn't do the ball and man thing. And I'm like, let's just get together, boys. Let's get together. And so I'm glad we do that now, and people aren't too freaked out about that. But yeah, I think my prayer life has gotten better. I pray with my family, on a daily basis. I call up my kids and they pray. Sometimes when they don't want to, but you got to force them to do that because it's good and healthy for them. Getting them to feel uncomfortable is
Hmm.
okay. But I think that spiritual piece too, God works in a lot of mysterious ways, and we don't necessarily have to know the why about why things are happening the way they are. But what we do need to do is just put our nose down and just work and try to get better. And everything else is white noise. Any negativity, any naysayers that think you can't do whatever it is you want to do, just white noise. You got to block it out. And a lot of times, I don't necessarily look at some of the things I've done, to reflect. I probably need to. That would be an area that I need to work on. I don't necessarily reflect on things that I've done or things that I've been a part of. I'm constantly looking at the next thing. Um, because when I believe if you slow down too much, I mean, I think there's times you need to slow down and reflect. I get that, but I think you slow down too much, you're going to miss the boat, and you're going to miss some opportunities, and you're going to just miss a little bit of the part of yourself, and how you react to other people and how people react to you. So yeah, I enjoy the prayer at the end. I was a little confused when people start praying to sun gods and things like that during prayers. That came out a couple of times, but it seems like everybody God knows it's your boy Swiper. I don't know how that happens. It's your boy Knobs. Maybe I'm not at that level. I'm trying to get to that level of those guys, but always striving for that for sure.
Well, I love that, and I'm encouraged that you've kind of grown into the space where you initially you're saying, "Hey, I wasn't as comfortable possibly sharing," or I'm not the type of person who was openly praying for other people. But I've graduated into more of this space. You know, with that being said, I'm sure your first COT was probably difficult or whatever. But I am curious if you remember what your first COT was about.
My first CO, so I did a combined CoQ with ear tag at the pit for my very first one, but then the one that I did by myself was at the sanitarium. I could probably look that up. It'd probably take me a second. I don't remember what it was.
No,
Um,
that's okay. I just yeah,
yeah,
no, I was just more curious.
most of my COTs have to involve with the guy Brian Kite. I don't know if you guys know who he is. Brian Kite's
No, I'm
yeah,
not familiar. Who is that?
Brian Kite. Yes, yeah. He just is he does a daily devotional that I get an email to, and he's got a website, and he's just is a good guy. I've heard him speak at the Nebraska Coaches Association. He's a guy that gets it. He tells a story of the time where he grew up in California, undersized kid. He ended up playing football in college. I'm not sure exactly where, but he tells a story where he was like, I don't know, 10 or 11 years old, and he went to a football camp in LA, where there's got like NFL guys that were kind of running this camp, and he was super pumped meeting these people, and it was super cool. And he goes, yeah, they did these drills, and I just worked my heart out and had a blast. And by the end of the week, they were giving out awards, and he got an award for the hardest worker, and he didn't know that the award was coming. And his stepdad or somebody said something to him, like, "Hey, if you didn't get that hardest worker award, we wouldn't be coming back for it. We wouldn't be coming back to this camp." And so he goes along and tells the story about how he, uh, you know, uh, thought about it, and reflected on it, and it's like, geez, what does it really mean when somebody that I look up to says that to me? But I mean, effort, and he's a big effort guy, and so yeah, it was just an interesting story. So I use that for one of my COTs, just trying to relay that even though there's not an award out there, can control the stuff that you control. Attitude, effort, coachability, and that's all that anybody has. And if there's somebody that doesn't want to give you that, then they've got an alternate agenda. I deal a lot with kids, so does my brother, and it just, you could tell exactly where a kid is at when they're not giving you that.
And do you feel like those things that you share in the COT are things that you actually use and share with your 2.0s as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of takeaways from it. Brian Kite's really big on the process and discipline, and what discipline means and what it's not, and just putting your nose down and just working. You have a problem, work at it. You got somebody that says you can't do something, work. You got a bum leg, work. Find something to do that's going to put you through that tough time or whatever. And usually it's just work. I've with my 2.0s, and I don't know if this is a parenting A+ or a parenting F-, but anytime my kids are remotely upset, with whatever, whether it's school, whether it's you know, whatever it is. They didn't get the toy they wanted. They didn't get to play whatever it is that they wanted. It's work. We're gonna find something to occupy your time, and that you could put your effort into something better. And then we'll have a conversation right after that when you're done. And usually those conversations go a lot more efficient and better when they're like that versus when they're not. And when you get them when they're red hot and you have a conversation with them, it usually is difficult, because they're still one-sided, thinking about their problem, thinking about their issue, versus looking at it from an outsider's point of view, and realizing that it's not the end of the world that I don't get to play with this. You know what I mean? That type of thing. So, discipline is a unique thing. It's getting up every day, striving to be the best person you can be. And, a lot of time that looks different day to day, the attitude, your outlook on life, the people around you have the ability to change that. But still, the decision is up to you. You can decide to stand up for what's right or stand up for what's wrong. And that's discipline.
I love it, man. I love that. And I think he had Brian Kite had a podcast with Coach Urban, right?
Saban?
Where they did
or Urban Meyer?
Yeah, the two of them had a podcast. I don't know if they're still doing it, but they talked a lot about it's like the event plus the response equals the outcome. Kind of the E+R equals O. And actually Othello, if you guys know him, he's got a tattoo on his forearm of the E+R equals O, because that was a big model that Westside schools went through, I think. So
John Gordon has something similar too, with the outcome and equals R. He's got another thing too that John Gordon does, but good stuff though.
Yeah. So the other piece we like to get your thoughts on. So our mission, right, is to invigorate male community leadership, and just kind of curious your experience from a leadership perspective. Like, what was it like being a site Q? Sort of how did it go receiving the flag, and then also talk us through kind of finding your successor and how all that went down.
The site Q responsibilities, pretty minimal when I dove into it a little bit. But as far as like wanting to become a site Q, it was not my plans. It wasn't, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just thinking of, I show up, I go to a workout, I want to meet some guys and, go on with my day, and then text a guy tomorrow where he's going to be at. That was kind of my routine. And then I got approached about sanitarium and by Swiper, and I'm like, wow, that would be great. Part of the reason I think I got asked was I had a key to the facilities there, and I think he, along with some others, really appreciate that. Girl dad a few times, not to throw anybody underneath the bus, but nature calls, and it's good to have a good facility. And One, Boss Hog's a hammer. He's a great dude. He was on the top of my list along with a couple other guys. I bounced some ideas off of my brother and G String and Knobs and Swiper and Firewalker and KOA and just a bunch of different guys just to get their opinion on what's going on. And I just kept coming back to him. One, he would beat me in like every sprint that we would do at the sanitarium. He showed up a ton, really active, well known, well liked, just a good dude. Been on several runs with him, and we talked about life and work and kids and whatever. Our kids actually do gymnastics, at the same place, and so just cross paths like way too many times, not to have it be a good thing. So it came to me like when I asked him, and I said, "Hey, man, not sure what your plans are, but I've got the sanitarium site. Love to, get you involved with being the site Q, the next site Q there." And he goes, "Oh, okay, that sounds good." And immediately I was thinking, geez, somebody already asked him. He's gonna go somewhere else. But the more we started to chat, the more excited he got, and I just remember it was during a pre-run at Mount O is when I kind of asked him, and um, my brother was thinking that maybe he might be a PsyQ, the next PsyQ at Mount O because he lives really close to there. And so he was kind of in the runnings for that too. And I knew somebody would get him before I didn't, and just what a good fit for the sanitarium. Just the man of the people and a good dude. I'm not afraid to reach out and call people and bring in the people to run some great beatdowns. Yeah, and it's evident first couple of weeks. I mean, he's handing out coupons to people. His buddy Cougar got a VQ there, which was cool, and then Jackson 5 got his VQ this last week. So really cool stuff. Just proud to just be a part of it, and have a site that I can plant the flag. You really don't know what you have until it's lost. And then when you have like meetings where or workouts where everybody's there and you see all the flags and you notice that you're not bringing a flag to the event, it's kind of sad. Um, but CSOPs and things like that is what I'm thinking of. But as far as that goes, uh, I enjoyed the flag. My wife did not enjoy the flag. She's like thinking that I'm got a shovel in the back of the car, and if people saw a shovel in the back of my car, that they would think that I'm digging up bodies or something. I don't know. She was kind of neurotic with that type of stuff, and but I'm like, she doesn't know. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. But honored to be a part of it. Happy to be a part of it. Knobs is a great dude. Got to hear that story. Got to start at the sanitarium when he was still the site Q, and then obviously was there with Swiper, and then I got it, and now Boss. So good lineage. Yeah, I think for leaders, you can't stay stagnant and you can't stay in one spot. Meaning, go to Mojo, go to Paradise, go to Trident, which I need to go to. Go to the Dunes, go try these different places out. I've been to Gretna, I've been to Millard, I've been, a lot of different places. Downtown, had a great run down there, the Jim Leahy Mall area, and yeah, just get out, meet new people, The more you know, I love this quote, and I forget who did it because it's not mine, but the more you know about other people, the more you're going to know about yourself. And I believe that. And that's why I continue to try to meet people, uh, talk to them, ask them some questions, and then you share a little bit about your story. I love hearing about other people and what they're doing, their family trips, their ins and outs, the just the little things that they try to navigate. Gives you one hope that either you're doing things right or then that maybe you got some things to try, right? But in all reality, it's get out and meet people for sure. That'd be the advice.
I love it. What about you when you think about just currently for you, where do you need support or prayers or encouragement? If we see out there, what's something we could check in with you on?
um I think just continued prayers for just and this is probably similar to everybody, but just health. You know, it's a blessing that we get to do the things that we get to do. I don't know if you're still doing the 1,000 burpee challenge or whatever plague, but I mean, when you were doing that, I was like rooting you on from afar for sure. And just the ability for people to do the things that they're doing. I mean, I don't have any aches and pains that don't get me down to where I can't do something, physically. So I think just prayers for health, prayers for just the ability to connect with people. We don't always know the perfect things to say, and you try to meet people where they're at. But then again, the opportunities that you get, I just prayers for the right connection so that you can make a difference. Um, yeah, and I don't know what's going to happen in my workplace too. I kind of see myself in a smaller town. I think Papillion's getting too big for me, but just I don't know what that will look like. But just in a smaller community where my kids know everybody and I know everybody, and that type of feel. I think I grew up in a smaller town where everybody knew everybody, and I'd like to get back to that at some point. So those would be the prayers, I think.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and just for you might be the only one, but so this year I was aiming to do 50,000 burpees. So it's December 21st today, which I think by the time guys hear this, it'll be April. But I've got just about 500 burpees to go before I hit that 50,000 on the year. So thanks for cheering me on. I could feel you
Yeah.
from
Oh,
afar, but well,
you're a beast, and
it's
keep it up. I don't know how you do
yeah.
it, but stop.
Keeps me sane, man. It's the mental. That's my daily anti-anxiety medication is the burpees. So
And what a healthy
this
way
has
to
been cool.
take
Just
care of
hearing
that for
hearing
sure.
your story. Yeah, well, and I think your story is really cool, and I'm excited because the next guy that we have to interview will be Ear Tag,
Mm.
as he just handed off the flag at Titan Alley. So anything that you think we should make sure to ask him about?
Definitely ask him about his thought process when he squats, and just his whether he has to have a phone in his hand. I'm not sure, but that would be the only question. He is a great dude. I mean, he'll give the shirt off his back to you. He's a tremendous golfer. I mean, he can stripe it with the best of them. Um, but yeah, just an overall good dude.
Love it. Well, I appreciate you, man. We'll do a little name-a-rama here. I think Pony had to jet, so we'll just do the two of us here, but I'll start
Okay.
us off. Brandon Flehardy, 38, The Plague.
The plague. Ah.
Ah!
Scott Curry, 42, double dip.
Double dip. And you've got the hand motion. Is there any sort of like, does Swiper come up with something to say afterwards, or you just do the double dip motion?
I don't know. There's been a couple things. It tends to be white noise, but I do the double dip and pass it on to somebody else. Chernobyl and I we were trying to think of some things to say, and and that was one of those things that I'll just do the hand motion. It's double dip, just like the fry. I don't know if you've seen the fry go into the ranch, and that's kind of where it came from. So.
For sure. I love it, man. Well, this has been great. Thanks for your time today.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you doing this too. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one.